Oh my gosh, what the F? Those are some really cute arm warmers. Well, would you believe that these super cool fitted arm warmers used to be stinky, smelly socks and I made them myself? Would you believe that? Would you believe me? Okay, for those of you who have never sewn before in your entire life, do not worry, because you are only going to use one stitch for this entire thing. It is going to be the whip stitch, I think, or felling stitch, depending on who you ask. Okay, so this is piece of sample fabric. Okay, so first I'm going to teach you how to start. Okay, so I have my needle threaded with 2 strings. Okay, so when I'm pulling my thread, I'm going to get twice as much as I want to end up on my needle. I'm going to thread it through and then find that halfway point and then leave that there, and then pull these 2 ends over here, pull them evenly, and then tie a knot like that, so that the threads don't slip around and they're not lost. Okay, now if you just start sewing like this, you just pierce through immediately and then you pull through, that knot is not going to keep this thread from falling out. It might for a second, and you might think you're good, but then if you tug, it's just gonna pop right out. So how you fix that is you're gonna start with a stitch. Let's say you're just doing one of these, like that, right? You're gonna start like that, and then you're gonna pull through, but not all the way through. And then you're gonna run your needle through those 2 strands before your knot, and then pull it tight. And now that you have that knot, it's not going anywhere. Okay, and the whip stitch is pretty simple. You're literally just gonna go in and then come back up. And then move to the side, and then go in and come back up. Like that. And then it's gonna leave you with these like little diagonal stitches, and that's important because we want our arm warmers to be stretchy still. If you do them straight across, then they'll only stretch so much. You're gonna use this whip stitch in 2 different ways. The first is, I'm just gonna fold this down. The first is to secure one piece on top of the other. And that's exactly the same. You're gonna go in, let's say you've secured the top piece with 1 stitch, a little bit of ways, go in, come back up, grab that top piece, pull it tight. And then same thing, gonna go to the side, go in, come back up, pull it tight. And you're just gonna keep on doing that forever and ever and ever. And the other way you're gonna do this, I'm gonna have some loose thread here just because I don't really feel like knotting it again. The other way you're gonna do a whip stitch is on these 2 raw edges. And for that, you're gonna go in, pull it tight, pretend I can, and then on the side that's facing you, just keep going in. You don't need to alternate sides at all. You're gonna catch both sides when you're doing this, so that they kind of bind together like that, if you can see that. You're just gonna do that all the way across. And those are the only stitches you need. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so all you're gonna need is some old socks that you don't want to wear anymore, some needle and thread, and the thread is gonna, like, you want it to roughly match the main color of your sock. I'm using like a dark brown because I've used all my black thread. And you need scissors because we're gonna mutilate these things. Okay, let's start with mutilation. Socks like these make it really easy for you because all you have to do is cut off the designated areas. Yeah, basically what you're trying to do is like compact this so that the sock, my goodness, lives in a straight line like that. So you really just need to cut off this triangle piece here. And then you're gonna wanna cut open this top part as well because that's where your fingers are gonna stick out. Okay, so let's do that. I'm thinking I might actually use a lighter thread so that you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I think I might do that. Okay. Now you can kind of see what's going on here. Stick your fingers in there. And then your thumb is gonna come out this bit. And then this is way too long, so we're gonna fold that down later. And then it'll be like an arm-warmy thingy. You could just wear it without the thumb hole, but I feel like it's just not as fun that way. And they're gonna slide up. So we're making a thumb hole. Okay. Now we have all the stuff cut off. You can sort of start to imagine. Yeah? I mean, it looks terrible right now, but you are going to want to try it on so that you know how much of this you need to sew back together. For me, it's about an inch on both sides. And I do like to have my thumb centered. Theoretically, you could not do that, but I've never done that, so I'm not going to. Yeah, like just about an inch for me. And now you're gonna grab the top here and pull it off so it turns inside out. And you want all the stitches on the ugly side so that the front is beautiful and perfect and doesn't look like it used to be a sock. Okay. Now you're gonna kind of like pinch the two raw edges together. And then you're just gonna whip stitch that shut. And I do like to pull my stitches pretty tight at this point, just because there's gonna be like a lot of stretching pressure. But yeah, it's not crazy important because I doubt that you put your gloves on very violently, but I like the peace of mind. And like the thinner and more fragile your fabric is, probably the further down you're gonna want to go with your stitches. This one's fairly structured, so I'm going just at the top, but maybe I will regret it later on. Who knows? When in doubt, go for bigger stitches. Or not like bigger, closer together and further down from the top, because there is a chance that they could just get pulled out and then the fabric would unravel, but that probably won't happen, so whatever. Okay, I think that's where I'm gonna stop. You're gonna want to go further into this cut if you want a tighter thumb hole, but I don't. How I'm gonna finish this off is I'm gonna do a shit ton of stitches right at the end where I want it to stop. And that's just like so any force my thumb is putting on it is not stronger than a single stitch, because it might be, who knows, maybe I'll get really aggressive with it one day. And then on the last stitch you're gonna pull it, but not all the way through, and then pass your needle through it so that it makes a little knot. And then you're gonna do yet another knot by going into your stitches, deliberately catching one of them on your needle, pulling it through but not all the way, and then passing it through the loop. There you go. And I'm just gonna do that like a million billion times, like for good measure, because I don't know, I'm a very nervous person. Okay, and once that is all done, you can cut it off. What I like to do is kind of pass my thread through these loose bits for here. This is optional, you don't have to do this part. It's just so when you cut it off, the loose thread isn't like flapping and dangling around, you know. Snip, and there you go. And now you're gonna do the other side. For me, it's another inch, and this is why you want it inside out at this point, because you can see how ugly these stitches are. Ugh. And then when you pull it over, you can still see them because I'm using light thread, but like you get the gist of it. And I'm just gonna do this other side, and you guys don't need to see. What do they do? Like this. I don't know. Okay. I finished that side. So now what we can do is we can turn it inside out. And okay, so now what I want to do is fold over this raw edge here. I guess you don't really have to do this, but I don't want it to fray more, and I hate how it rolls up like this. So I'm gonna fold it underneath like that, and then whip stitch it down so that you can't see that raw hem, and it'll be just like a nice folded over thing. Okay. Okay, so now, this is mostly just vibes. What we're gonna do is fold this raw edge from the thumb hole over, and then just kind of whip stitch that down. Doesn't need to be perfect, again. This is kind of where it's important that you have thread that matches the sock, because it's probably gonna show over to the other side. And that's unfortunate for me, but you need to see what I'm doing. Oh gosh. Please. Yes. A genius. You know, people used to always come to me to untangle their earbuds. Like such a terrible flex. Okay. Alright. So this is gonna be difficult because it's like hard to hold it, fold it over, and then sew it at the same time. But you can do it. We're gonna do the same thing where you pull it almost all the way through, and then loop into it and pull it into a knot. And then you're just gonna go ham crazy town. You know what I'm saying? But that looks a lot nicer, doesn't it? Like this versus this. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think this definitely has its own charm. I just don't like that it rolls up on itself. Okay. Now I'm going to do the other side. I'm actually gonna save so much of my camera storage space because it keeps running out, so you don't get to see this shit. Okay. So I've finished whip stitching all of this edge down. There we go. And I'm hoping I have successfully made it not so visible on the outside. Outside check. What do we think? Pretty good? Yeah? Okay. So now we're going to try it on again. Make sure everything fits nice. I think that's a pretty good amount for the thumb hole. Now the problem is, where are my fingers? Okay. So you could just cut this to your desired length. You could just lop it off. But we're not gonna do that because I hate raw edges. Okay. Well, I'm probably gonna cut most of it. Yeah, I'm gonna cut it a little bit higher than where I want it. Just like, I'm gonna say right at the top of this, the logo. Yeah, not terrible. Okay, I'm gonna try it back on. Just see. Yep, okay, that's definitely a little higher than I want it. And then, what we're gonna do, get this. I'm gonna fold it over. And then whip stitch that down. And then this is where the pins might come in handy. Because when you roll this down, it might not want to stay. But it also might, so who knows. I like to do, hold on, I have some really long pins, yeah. Just one on each side to kind of tack it in place. And as much as I work with pins, I do always get stabbed by them. I just feel like that's the nature of pins. Don't be afraid of them. It only hurts for a little bit. You'll be okay. Now we're gonna do basically the same thing that we did for the thumb hole. And I'm gonna start with my little securing knot. And this one's probably gonna go a lot faster because you're working with like a bigger section of fabric. Okay, and now we are all done. All there is left to do is turn it inside out and put it on. And there you have it. Some nice arm warmers. Yeah, and now you can make so many arm warmers. And you will never order from AliExpress ever again, probably a lie. And whenever somebody asks, wow, those arm warmers are so cute, where did you get them? You can say, I made them myself, and they used to be my sweaty little socks. Okay, bye.